Shalom, all praise to Yehovah, Shem El Shai, the one to the apostles at GreatMillStone. This is from www.tamebay.com. It says, is contactless making us cashless? It says, I'm just going to read a bit into this because obviously the fact is that when you check up the plan of the so-called elites, which the word elite means elect, because Satan's got his elect, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, families alike, but basically their plan is to bring in a cashless system, RFID technology with slaves, and everything is cashless. It says, last week the bank provided me with my first contactless card. Initially I was entirely unmoved by this, but in the first few days since I've had it, I've noticed I've been using cashless and relying on the tap and pay technology for the vast majority of transactions I make. So the guy goes into a lot of different examples of the fact that now he's got the contactless card, he doesn't resort to using cash. All he's doing now, and this is your bank cards, bro, Barclays, whatever card, and that's what it is. And the majority of people now are not even handling cash, bro. You telling me this ain't even the prophecies? Let me read on into it. At the pub, supermarket, and just about everywhere, I've been paying using contactless, and even in such a short time, I'm starting to find it irksome that some establishments don't have the contactless technology in place. I didn't need a ticket or even, he said, when I was in London Tube, I didn't need an Oyster card. I didn't need a ticket or even an Oyster card. I just tapped in and out with my contactless card. So you can travel using your bank card on these trains, on these buses. If you're in London, because that's where they mainly use it at. Other parts of England, it's not been stretched out on that. They've got them up there in certain towns, but it's mainly in this London where they got all the main cameras, Big Brother, London, whatever you want to fucking call it, mate. I Spy Britain, yeah. It says there are trends globally that reflect how increasingly some economies are becoming cashless. In Korea, 80% of customer spending is made on cards. In Sweden, 80%. In Sweden, it's predicted by academics that the country will be cashless by 2020. So where is all this going? It's going to, what did the elite say? They want an RFID chip in a cashless society. Let me bring a scripture out and then go back to the article. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is the power of their hands. Let me look up this word, practice. That's talking about the elites, because it says the power, they practice evil upon their beds because it is in the power of their hands. Who's got the power? The so-called banking families. Let me look up this word for practice it. And then you also got to note that a cashless society is against the law, because the scripture says a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord. And basically that in weight and stuff, because to fashion, to accomplish, to make, to do, to work, to make, produce, to observe. So this is basically what these mans are trying to accomplish, trying to fashion. They're trying to fashion a world where there's no cash, and that is against the scriptures, against the law. A false balance is an abomination unto the Lord Yehovah Shem Yahushai. You got a lot of words here. I'm not going to go into all those. Labor to work about anything. So they're to work in gold and silver. Funny enough, it says there, which they've stripped the gold and silver. So all the things that they practice, this is one of them. One of them is cashless society. And we're talking about the Rothschilds, Rockefellers here, which the Bible talks about those individuals. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. There are small traders there, have adopted services like Swish and iZettle, and even churches are in the game. Churches now display a donation phone number at the end of services. Increasingly the cash is coming in digital and not in the plate. So they got tithe offerings where in churches you don't even have to give cash. They got a system where you pay tithes fucking cashless, bro. So, everyone's talking about all these other groups. Here at GreatMillStone, we show you that the elite bankers are trying to make a cashless society. And you guys try and mock that and say it's a conspiracy theory. But then we're finding out in countries like Korea, 80% of the consumerism is made cashless anyway. Churches now, they got systems where you don't even have to pay cash. And we all know the churches have got 501c3 charters with governments. And there's scriptures on that about not going to law before the unjust. You're not supposed to deal with them. That's what they did. That's what the wicked scribes and Pharisees did when they delivered up Yahweh Shai. They wanted Yahweh Shai to get that death. They wanted them to get. He wanted to get that ultimate killing, man. Sold him out to the Romans. I'm still slightly concerned about security problems if I lose it. Someone could have a reasonable good time, even under the spending limits of £30 in a short time. But I've moved towards a cashless economy as benefits as well as disappointments. I'm worried that some people will be excluded and more than 1 billion Brits are still unbanked. But the trend becomes a clear one. We seem to be using a cashless as a nation. And that's true. Now, someone said, what happens when the IT systems and internet fail due to solar storms, etc.? Very likely events of cyber terrorism. Also, yes, the security aspect is poor. Personally, do not use that. They're trying to perfect this system with injecting you with it, and then they're going to be the only ones controlling it. So you're going to be a zombified slave, and anybody that doesn't get chipped, they want you to be killed. Now, you might say, how do you know that? Well, if you go into out of their own mouths of these so-called elites, you'll find these things out. And you'll also find out that they want to depopulate the earth. Didn't H.G. Wells write about it? Ain't Bill Gates talking about it? David Rockefeller's. I mean, it's just what it is. Let me ground this. Let me go into the scripture about... Let's see if I can find the scripture. Give me a sec. I said because I mentioned it, I might as well try and find it. I think it's in Leviticus 19. Actually, a false balance. Give me a sec. Because, like I said, man, this system was prophesied of in the book of Daniel. Look, Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And a false balance, unjust weight. When you got money, you got a pound of what? A pound of silver. They're not even dealing with that. They took the gold and silver away, and they set up a cashless society where you haven't even got a pound of silver. You got a fucking digits on the screen, mate. And that is an abomination. So we've seen, look, Proverbs 20:23, diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. You got all this inflation that goes on. 1 minute you're paying this for a loaf of bread, the next minute you're paying £2, the next minute you're paying a fiver, that sort of stuff for the same damn thing. The money manipulators. So the Esau's gonna go out, man. And that's the point, man. This guy in this article here, he's basically loving the fact that you got cashless. And a lot of you people go out there and say that it's for technological advancements. Well, we just call it according to the scriptures. There's more scriptures on it too. I could have brought out. But, you know, that just shows what time we're in. We're in a time of cashless. The chipping dogs, the chipping people. People are chipped. You know. And these elites want to get to the helm of it. But according to the scriptures, they're not going to... You elites are going to go straight into slavery after World War III, mate. Right when World War III is happening, you're done. Okay, you're done. So basically, we know that the RFID chip has to come out before World War III, and that's why they're making it cashless right now as we speak. And you know what? We're gonna do more videos because this is what's going on. So with that,